All right, guys, here we are into our trimester review. We're going to start with trimester 1, then move into trimester 2 tomorrow, and both trimesters will be on your exam. So starting off with unit 1, real numbers, we are going to define rational numbers, terminating repeating decimals, and irrational numbers. Okay, a rational number is an integer, fraction, terminating or repeating decimal. Remember, integer just means any whole number. And then all of these numbers could be either positive or negative. So now let's go into terminating and repeating decimals. Okay, so a terminating decimal is a decimal that stops. Remember, terminate means stop. A repeating decimal goes on forever. But the important part here, it goes on forever with a pattern. So now an irrational number must be a number without a pattern. So it goes on and on and on and on, but has no pattern. Okay, so let's classify some numbers. This first one, negative 6.121123, blah, blah, blah. I see no pattern, so it can't be rational. 1/3. Well, it's a fraction, so it's definitely rational. What about the next one? What do you guys think? 1.53. This little bar on top, remember, means to repeat. So that 3 is repeating over and over and over again, which means it's a repeating decimal, which is now rational. All right, 0.34563, blah, blah, blah. I see no pattern. Not rational. 2.38566, blah, blah, blah. No pattern to me either there. So it is irrational. Now the next one, square root of 25. If we put that into our calculator, we get 5. 5 is an integer. Integers are rational. And the last one, negative 0.75. And it stops right there. So it's terminating, and terminating decimals are rational. All right, and the question below it. A terminating decimal, which ones are they? Remember, terminating means stop. So which decimals above stopped? Well, we know square root of 25 gave us 5, and that stopped. Negative 0.75 stops right there, so that's definitely terminating. But what about 1/3? If I put this into my calculator, I get 0.333, and they go on forever. So that's repeating, that's not terminating. So those are the only two. All right, let's skip ahead a couple of months and go to integer operations. First step on this train is going to be our tic-tac-toe board. Let's go ahead and fill that in. All right, and how did we use that tic-tac-toe board? When we were adding and subtracting, if the numbers were the same side, we just add them and then keep the sign. So like the first one, 3 plus 7, they're both positive, so I'm going to add them and get 10. And because they're positive, 10 stays positive. You guys try the one next to it. If the numbers are opposite sign, what do? Let's see. I have a positive, I have a negative, and it says subtract. Same thing here. I have a negative, I have a positive. It's telling me to subtract. So I'm going to subtract them, the actual physical numbers. But then we keep the sign of the larger number. So let's check the first one. 12 minus 24. 12 is positive, 24 is negative, so subtract the numbers. And I get 12, but 24 is bigger, so it's negative 12. And then you guys could do the next one. Let's move on to double signs. If there are double signs, we could also use the tic-tac-toe board to help us. So I have 2, I have a positive, I have a negative, so that means I change it to a negative. So I have 2 minus 10. And one more time, Again, the 2 is positive, 10 is negative, so subtract the numbers, I get 8. 10 is larger, so negative 8. And let's just review what happens here if I have a double negative. So negative, negative, it gives me a positive. So I have 9 plus 6 equals, and you guys fill that in. Let's skip along to multiplying and dividing. Multiplying and dividing, this one's pretty cool. If we have the same sign, it's always going to be positive. So 4 times 10 is 40. They're both positive, so 40 stays positive. And I want to just change this example. I'm going to do negative 2 times negative 8. And I can see this on my negative tic-tac-toe board over here. I have a negative, and I get a positive. So I have positive 16 as my answer. But if they're opposite signs, like here, negative, positive, it becomes a negative. Always. So 21 divided by negative 7, those are opposite signs. 21 is positive. I get a negative 3. And you guys try the last one there. And let's skip around to around the holidays is when we did equivalent expressions. So here, let's label a bunch of stuff. This first box here is pointing to the 5 and the 3. Both of them are before variables, so these must be my coefficients. We know what x is. Any letter in an expression or an equation must be the variable. And then all the way over here on the end, when numbers are all by themselves, no variables attached, no other numbers attached, this is called the constant. And the last one, we have another number, but we have another number on top of the variable. So if it's raised to the power, this must be the exponent. And then this is just term 1, term 2, and term 3. Not really important to me right now. And remember, after that, once we learned all these key vocabulary words, we started translating expressions. So this first one here, I have 9 plus x can be written as, let's translate it. So we're going to start from left to right. We have 9. Now plus, remember, it can mean increased by. We have a bunch of different words we could use. Increased by, and then we have x. And x just means a number. So 9 increased by a number, or 9 added to a number. Either way, however you like. So this one's a little tougher. You guys try that one. All right, that's what I got. I got 3 times a number, so 3 times x plus 4 added to 4. Let's try one backwards. I gave you the translation. Now we have to write the expression. So it says the product, and product means to multiply of 4 and w. So I know that product of 4 and w subtracted by 3, subtracted by 3. All right, and then the last thing we did in trimester 1 was expressions. We're going to expand this expression. So remember here, we need to follow the order of operations, and that is PEMDAS. First, it's parentheses. I see parentheses, and I need to distribute. So we need to distribute and share the 3 to everybody. So remember, my distribution step looks like that. 3x plus 3 times negative 10 plus 4. And then the next step means to multiply. So we did parentheses. I don't see any exponents, so now I'm up to multiplication. So I have 3x. Right here, I have minus 30 plus 4. And now we did the multiplying. I don't see any division, so I could skip that. Now addition and subtraction. So we're going to group our like terms, which are these two numbers right here. So I have 3x minus 26. And this is my final answer here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for trimester 2 review. Any questions, stick them in at the end.